Hey ladies and gents, it's Zem, and we're going to do the review on the ISM, or the ISM, right? This is the new Tier 8 tank, heavy tank in the Russian line. So this is the changes that were made to the heavy line in the last patch. From the IS, used to go to the IS, now you have a choice between going to the ISM or the IS3. From the ISM it goes to the Object 2705, and then on to the Object 705A. IS3 goes to either the 257 or the T10, depending on which one you want to go down. The 257 leads, of course, to the IS7. So, that is the new changes in the tech tree for this tank. Well, what do we have in game here? Well, this was a design project. The only real information I could find out about it was from this tank encyclopedia was Shashmurin, a well-known tank designer, drew up plans for a possible alternative to the IS-2, unofficially named the IS-2SH. It was a complete redesign of the IS, featured a rear-mounted turret. Only one drawing is known to exist of this design, and this is what we have right here. We have it called IS-2. It's called the ISM. It actually kind of goes down with this here to this IS-2M, which was another rework of this tank. But this is the only thing I could actually find of a rear-mounted IS-2 tank, which was this one drawing they had of this tank back in the day. So yeah, that's where the comes from. I don't know if it was ever actually prototyped. This one was never prototyped. It was only a drawing. However, the ISM-2, which was the changes to the obviously one version was made of it. But the transmission fighting compartment reloaded to the rear, the engine to the center, and the driver and radio at the front. So this was a little bit different. I think it used some of the same principles that was used in this one, or some of the same general design of it, but this was actually I said, the only known image of the IS-2SH, which was this drawing. So what we have in game let's look at the tanks GG. Armor-wise, it's not bad. Effective armor is 198 on the lower plate, 208 on the upper plate. A little bit of an angle here. Of course, these little shoulders get a little bit weaker. What is real nice about it is the turret, of course, is how effective this is. Even the relatively weak armor on the top, considering how flat it is an auto ricochet. The only thing you can really hit, of course, is at the cupola here. But for the most part, nothing spectacular. This armor here is probably very similar to the IS-3's. Of course, not Defender type armor, but it's not too shabby. A little bit of an angle here. Of course, this gets a little bit better, but not much. You're not going to really bounce shit unless you're side scraping. And this thing is a side scraping machine, and I'll show you in a couple of videos I'm talking about. This thing only does like one thing well, which is side scrape. Other than that, it doesn't. So the rear or the sides, 145. Turrets about 154 on the side. Of course, the rear is 100 and whatever it is. We'll of course look at it in game here. So what we have in game, I'm going to bring up the comparison here because I did the comparison on the ISM, the IS-3, the Defender, the IS-6, and the IS-3A. Gun stat wise, it actually is better, surprise surprise, than these other 4 tier 8 Russian. I also threw the IS in there just for shits and giggles to see what it would compare up to. Aim time, it's better. Average damage per minute's better. Survivability, hit points, it's right along with the lines with the rest of them. Not quite as good as the IS-3 and the IS-6, that kind of stuff. Hull armor's better. Of course, the turret armor is better as well. It actually, for the most part, has mobility similar to the rest. Not quite as, the IS-6, the traverse speed and all that stuff is not the greatest either. Same with concealment, not that great. View range, about on par with the rest of them. Of course, this is kind of all over the place right here. But for the most part, it stacks up very similar to the other tanks in this IS family, I guess you want to call it. However, what's really not shown is, of course, the ground resistance and that stuff. The IS-3 is just, far as I'm concerned, just a all-around better moving tank. Same way with the RU-252. Even the IS-6 seems like it's a little bit lighter on its feet. This thing is sluggish, and I mean, it just feels so ridiculously sluggish. The other thing that's killing it, yeah, it's got 5 degrees of gun depression, which is the same as the IS-3, but the difference between this one is, of course, where the turret is mounted compared to the IS-3. So you got 5 degrees of gun depression, but your turret's way back here. You'd pull up on any sort of ridge, and that negates everything. This tank is mind-numbingly frustrating when you have to play anything other than flat ground. With that weird setup on this tank, you have a hard time really getting that gun to bear. You know, like I said, IS-3's got the same gun depression, but look, of course, where the turret's mounted. You know, you can make this work. Same way with the RU-252, you can make this work. IS-6 even, you can make this work, right? You know, hell, most times I would take the IS over this tank. With this gun on the back, you really have to pick your spots where you're going to fight with it, and if you don't, you're going to get just worked. Every other tier 8 tank you run into is going to, you know, has better gun depression. You know, you don't want to get in fights with the Patriots. You don't want to get in fights with even just other mediums. It is difficult. So now, this is, I'm actually got a just put this new crew in here, so these numbers are going to be a little bit off. Of course, we're going to look at the compare part of it, and this is with the 100% crew and BIA, so 1 skill crew. So average damage per shot is 390, average penetration is 212. Now this is the one big difference. This gun can be frustrating as fuck, and you'll see me spam more APCR or premium rounds than I probably should, but this thing will frustrate the hell out of you not being able to pen tanks. Even with 212, I mean, it doesn't sound like a whole big difference, 13 millimeters of penetration difference between that and the IS-3 or the Defender, but it does make a difference, and it's surprisingly how much a difference does it make. Rate of fire is 6.21, which is of course the best of the 4 of the IS in this IS family. 9.66 reload time, which of course is also the best in this family. Turret's traverse speed is also the best in this family. However, -5 degrees, which is the same, of course, as the IS-3 and the IS-3A. The other two actually get -6, which makes a huge difference. Aim time 2.75, and average damage per minute is 2,400. So it does, on paper, look better than the other 4 ISs at tier 8. But, like I said, with that gun depression comes that big problem. Hit points 1,500, 130 on the hull armor, and 120 on the sides, and 80 in the rear. Turret's armor is, of course, 250. This will bounce a fair amount of shots, and you'll watch in the videos what I'm talking about. This thing will bounce a lot of shots. This is a relatively hard cupola to hit, right? This usually has this usual piece of tin that sits on top of it here, but it's so flat there's almost little or no chance I'll actually ever get the shell to catch. So for the most part, your cupola is about all that you have to worry about. However, if you are dealing with tanks that have a higher pen than 250, you're still going to get screwed. I just run into a Super Conk that with APCR, which of course is over 300 pen, he just went keep going right through my cheeks, no problem. You know, that's just the way it is. 55, 60 tons fully loaded, 750 brake horsepower, 13.44 tons per horsepower, 35 top speed, and the traverse speed is not too shabby. Concealment, once again, you're not going to worry about it. View range and signal range, still not the greatest. And of course, like you said, doing a compare list maybe gives me a little bit better idea of what this thing means fully upgraded. 365 fully 100, 652, and I'm not running any sort of coated optics or any of that stuff. So the only thing I'm really running on here is a GLD, I believe, yeah, 1 BIA, 100% crew, rammers, vents, and of course vert stabs. Yeah, that's what I'm running, vert stabs. There you go. I'm gonna pay attention now more often. Maybe not. Maybe not. All in all, it's a nice looking tank. Don't get me wrong. I mean, this is kind of a sweet looking design to it. But if any of you are familiar with these rear facing or with these tanks with the turrets on the back side of them, they're not they're not always the best. You know, you have a certain amount of area where you can fight effectively without ever actually, you know, even the Chrysler K. Yeah, lots of them in game now. You know, you have medium tanks with them in game. But for the most part, like I said, you really have to pick your battles with this thing. Anything that's got a hill on it, you want to just stay the fuck away from it and don't even bother. So, with that said, I'm going to bring up the gameplay for you, and I'm not going to give this thing more than... I'm just going to give it a fucking blah. It is nothing spectacular. IS-3, in my opinion, is better. Defender, of course, is better. Oh, man, I would even say the IS-3A, for the most part, is even better just because of its ability to, you know, just all around better movement, in my opinion. This thing, I mean, this thing's supposed to have better mobility-wise, but it just never feels like it with this thing. So yeah, I'll give this a fucking I'll just give it a, you know, a handshake or a hand wobble. You know, it's not a it's not a 1 or 2 thumbs up, or it's not a 1 thumbs down or 1 thumb. It's just a blah. It's a blah tank. It is what it is. If you can make these rear-mounted turrets work for you, great. But like I said, for actual versatility and the ability to do things in the battlefield, these are kind of one-trick ponies, in my opinion. You know, you got a city map, hey, you're fucking great, you're doing great. But anything other than that, you really have to work on it. Well, it has a lot to do with the gun, of course, the dispersion and all that kind of stuff. It's just not the best. So, bring up the gameplay for you guys, and you guys take a look at this thing. Alright, fellas, back with the first game in the ISM, and we're playing on Kharkov, which is a pretty nice matchup. This is an Altair 8 match. This thing, in my opinion, it just struggles at tier. Anything above its own tier, it seems to be kind of weak, in my opinion. Unless you're in a nice position where you can side scrape with it, everything pretty much pens you like it's nothing. And of course, your rather trollish gun on this thing is not so great. So I'm going to be rolling right here with next to the IS-3, kind of give you an idea what I was talking about earlier with the mobility on this thing. Yeah, stat-wise, it does shows that the IS-3 should be not as good, but you know, those stats are not always the best. So rolling along here, and I'm going to run myself in here and try to get up inside this outside courtyard and see what we can do. Pick up the first T-34-3. Fucking course if he's firing HE. I get pinned in the front corner. He fires up a unbelievable shot and nails me on the move because Russian accuracy. So, side scraping here. Do what I can. We're actually, like I said, side scraping with each other like this. It's pretty hard for either one of us to actually pen each other. Almost impossible to a certain degree. Pick up the T-69, put a shell into him, and this is where this is like one of the oddest push I've ever actually seen. You're just going to see this massive rush of red coming here into where I'm sitting. Normally this isn't how this map plays out. This is a very odd deal here. Pick up the Scorpion, try to get his front idler, but didn't quite get it. I'm about to 1,020 already blocked, and this ISM is also side scraping and doing a pretty nice job of it so far. So I have an IS-3, I have a T-10, now I have an IS-6 here in the back behind us, and this guy has been a total douche most of the game. So pick up my first. There's, like I said, about the cupola being really weak. So I'm trying to get this IS-3 as much cover as I can with my hull, so I can at least hopefully get him out of that situation right there. So pick up Scorpion G again, and Now we're looking for here. Now, this, like I said, this is one of those situations where you'll see me switch to premium rounds because I have to make every shot count. I cannot fuck up on a shot. I cannot get a pen. There's way too many tanks in front of me. They all seem to be interested in me for some reason, and we're going to see if we can get another shot onto him. I actually hit the cupola, but it does nothing more than give him a critical hit. So, got the Centurion here coming in. Yeah, there you are, buddy. We'll just fucking nail you. So, Keth is in front of me now. I still have the ISM. We're fucking wrecking the team out of them. We're doing a pretty nice job of finishing these guys off. Alright, so I'm looking here and see if I can get one more shot, and then I get a nice shot into the side of his cupola, and I got the T-34-3. Now this is where it kind of dodgy here. So I'm aiming for his cupola, and completely, utterly go right over top of the top here. So the IS-3 has no problem penning my lower plate, and now I got the ISM behind me. Here he comes. I got an IS-6 behind me that's not doing anything. He's just simply watching, and of course I get wrecked from behind. However, this IS-6 right here is a 42% player, and I did not expect much else out of him. Go figure. So 3,073 damage, 1,300 blocked, and a little bit of frustration in my teammates. The fact that I got flanked by an ISM just absolutely blew my mind. I was in a pretty good, decent position there. I probably could have ended up killing both the 34-3 and that other ISM eventually. But hey, you know, what are you going to do? Yeah, so as a side scraper, this thing's really damn good. I mean, that's what this thing does. I mean, it does a really nice job side scraping. However, that's once again about all it really ever does. You know, mobility-wise is not the greatest. Speed-wise is not the greatest. Gun accuracy, gun handling is not the greatest, but it can side scrape like a son of a bitch. So yeah, if you like that kind of play style, we like where you get nice city maps like this, you're going to do pretty well with it. So that's the first video, and I will bring up the next two for you guys, and continue on this little journey that I've had this afternoon with this tank. Alright, back with the second game in the ISM. This isn't an early great game, but this is kind of going to show you what the weaknesses of this tank is, and how it performs on different kind of terrain and all that kind of stuff. The other one, of course, we're driving on paved roads, so it didn't do too bad. Ooh, an Alpine Tiger. Now, honestly, Wargaming, what the fuck? Really? You're just releasing another Wheezy, but you put a skin on it. Oh my goodness, this is one of those hero tanks, kind of like the Defender and the Patriot and all the rest. But now we have an Alpine Tiger for the Chinese. So off to the races. Takes forever, it seems like, this thing to get up to speed. It's just, to me, it seems like it's super slow. Anything with a hill on it, doubly worse. It's losing speed faster than a T95. But yeah, we're going to try to get up here on the hill and see what we can do. Unfortunately, there isn't a whole lot up here, just me and this T-34-100 right now. IS-2 Alpine Tiger, IS-3 are heading to the heavy corner, which leaves most of the center of the map kinda wide open here. It's not looking good for the home team already. I mean, honestly, this isn't good. But we're gonna see what's gonna happen here. We're gonna go up here and play the corner here and see what we can do. I'm not really enjoying this grind that much with this tank. This thing is, to me, it seems rather annoying for the most part. ISM, the other ISM has moved down in here, and I'm going to actually turn around here and help him. That's about the time I see Mr. Scorpion stick his little pecker head up. Yeah, there you are, buddy. Yeah, well, eat a shell. Find the Comet. He's sitting right out here taking a shot at me. Comet tracks me. And now he's on the run because he just got wrecked. Run into rock. Ooh, Scorpion with the heat shell to the front. Where did that hit? Yeah, this actually tank does fairly decent against heat rounds. You know, anything on the sides, of course, it's going to eat it. But for the most part, it'll bounce. If you get into a position where you can actually bounce something. That one was actually, he hit the front of my, right by my gun mantlet. Not much you can do about it. So, pick up the other ISM. You saw me switch to premium rounds. One, because I didn't know if I was going to have to take him head on. If I did, 212 penetration is not going to fucking cut it. I will not be able to pen that. Switch back to regular rounds, and we're going to put this thing into motion, see what we can do. Get up to the top speed, and it just still seems like it's still so slow. I get stunned by the Crusader, and where are you at, Scorpion? Yeah, Russian accuracy. Now, if I would have shot that full bloom, fuck, no problem. I would have been all over that. Crusader's got a fucking hard on for me. Today, it was just absolute worst. I mean, everything I did, everything where I went, no matter what tier I was playing, artillery was on my shit, stunned most of the time. Crappy mobility, as you can see. This thing is struggling getting up hills, and with this gun depression here is what I'm going to talk about, how far you actually have to drive up to make this thing work. Up the hill we go. I've got a few tanks over here. The Type 59 and the Challenger have moved down, and we're going to pull up here and see what we can shoot here. See, yep, come on, someday, there we go, we're at the top, Put the shell into him, got the T25-2, or T25-2, and of course the SP-1C. So, let's put a shell into the T25-2, yeah, a little bit of damage there. SP-1C, Sir Girth, that's kind of an unusual name, but hey, works for me. T25-2, I'll put another shell into him. Knocks my track off. He's of course firing APCR right now, so he's having a hell of a time penning my front of my tank when it's turned. And you saw in the tank thing how it is fairly well armored. So yeah, 6s and 7s will have a trouble penning you from the front, but with the lovely shit matchmaking that Wargaming has now provided us, you're not going to see a lot of these top tier games, if at all. I think I got 2 out of 30 games today with this thing. So yeah, not the best. So I'm sending out 1952. The mobility, like I said, in this thing is just absolutely horseshit. It is so, it seems like it's so immobile. Oh, and I missed him. Heat round from the Scorpion. Back up here. There you go. Come on, buddy. Heat shell. Yep, you're not going to do shit with that heat shell, buddy. Pick up another shell to him. Puts him at about 2,200 damage, and like I said, not the best game, but just as more along the lines of I was trying to give you guys an idea what this thing can do on different kinds of ground. Of course, water, yeah, soft ground, blah, hills, blah. If you, like I said, with that little bit of showing what that gun compression can do, and how just completely lack of it, how far you actually have to drive up to shoot something. Like I said, really a one-trick pony, and that's about all you can really do with this thing. Is of course find some place you can side scrape off, or for the most part hold down. It's not too bad, but anything else than that, you're gonna have an issue. So one more game for you guys to check out, and should be done with it for tonight. All right. Back with the last game. I'm in Stalingrad, top tier tank. It is looking pretty tasty. So, and this is where this tank really shines and really does well, are on these nice flat maps, city maps where you have lots of cover, you have corners you can work, and all kinds of things like that. Yeah, it does pretty decent on this kind of stuff. So, off to the races. Well, in this case, not really off to the races, but we're going to slowly make our way over into the corner. Got a little bit of help here. Got some heavies with me, that kind of stuff. Cheers here. Yeah, there we go. T29, T150, ISU 152, Jagdpanzer IV. So not too shabby. T29 stops because don't push up into positions that give you an advantage. Just hang out. So pick up the first T34 here. I was really hoping he was going to come out here, so I'm going to just knock the wall down so I can see what the hell's going on if he decides to poke his head out. Alright, nothing there. I'm not going to get anything, so we're on the move here. T34, he wasn't paying attention, so I was able to slide right through there. Off we go. They don't seem to be too pushy, and they have lots of tanks over on the other side. So we're going to push up here and see what we can do. T-34 off to my left. Got a 3601 here. We have a fair amount of tanks sitting off to the one side. I don't know why the MT-25 is behind me. I just don't get it. OI's here. He was playing the derpy-derp. Sniper derp. That's what I like to call it. Back up here. Find out the T-34. Put a shell into him. 360. This 10, you know, it's supposed to be 390 average damage. This thing rolls for most of the time for under. For most of the time, it seems like it rolls under what it's stated at here. So pick up the Scorpion G off to the side here. He's not paying attention. He's sitting right there. Put a shell into him. And yeah, got the shell. And they're actually pushing pretty hard on right now. And I got the 3601. He's finally moved off to the side here. Yeah, there he goes. So put a shell into him. It's not looking good. We're already down 3 tanks right off the bat here. Can't quite get the 3601 in. Back up. And of course the fucking Scorpion. Really? It's kind of sad when you can't even see the Scorpion in there. He actually hit me in the lower plate. About 246 pen. He has no problem going through my lower plate. So back on the move here. Let's finish off these heavies and see if we can do something before the other side has already been rolled. So come around the corner. We're just going to bend here a little bit here and see what we can do with the OI. Yeah. He has a longer aim time than artillery, but yet somehow snaps that shot in there. Gets me for 160. Shoot him in the rear. There we go. 234. Shoot him. See if I can. Yeah. Wiggle, 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 wiggle. Oh, he gets me in the drivers. It's down about 418 hit points. Here we go. SU-100M1. Put a shell into him. He fires HE because that's legit. Jagdpanzer 4. Not sure what he's up to. Yeah, there you go. Give me your side. So, leaves me with the OI. What are you going to do, buddy? We're looking. T-29, another OI. Yeah, there you go. Fucking snapshot into that shit. So, Scorpion G, AT-15A are all moving up here. And put a shell into him, and I'm on the move. Somehow he gets that to pen the side of my tank at that angle. Yeah, fuck you, RNG. Stuff like that really pissed me off. And if I would have shot that, I would have hit his track, and that's would have been it right there. So, playing against Scorpion G here. He's just on the hill. I got 5 hit points left. So back up here and see what I can do. I'm trying to. Nope, can't get my shot on him. Scorpion G is of course now sitting there. T-3480, T-34-100 comes through. Here comes the 32. Yeah, I'll put a shell into you too, buddy. Sadly, he gets to the side of me, and there's nothing I can do about it. So with the shell to the Scorpion G, I ended up with about 3150. And a loss because reasons. Actually, it was a high caliber game, which I was not, you know, hey, it's always nice to get those. But the 2 other tier 8s on my team, one did 0 damage, and the other one did 250 damage. So, yeah, congrats on that tier 8s. Frustrating as fuck. This is going to be a long grind with this tank. But hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I hopefully have some. I'll have the contest winners up for the World of Warplanes here next tomorrow. So we'll see you guys.